All right. Explain to me what's an in knocked. That's in the, that's in the police report. The officer said suspect one stated that victim one had in knocked on her door.
They knocked on their door trying to.
No, I'm asking.
Constantly.
No. What is an in knock? The court is calling 2025 CR 001146 State versus Cynthia Diano. Could I have parties announced for the record?
Defendant for the state of Texas. Jeffrey Martinez for defendant.
And are you Cynthia Diano?
Yes.
How do you pronounce your last name?
Diano.
I got it right. Counsel, have you received all discovery? Did you review it with your client?
I did, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Did you understand the state is proceeding on the lesser included offense of assault bodily injury as a Class A misdemeanor? Range of punishment is anywhere from up to a $4,000 fine and up to 1 year in the Bexar County Jail. If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, withdraw your plea. Did you understand? Oh, you didn't understand that part? So let me explain to you. And then if you don't understand, let me know. I'll help you and your attorney discuss it. So you're entering into a plea bargain agreement with the state. You understand that part? Whatever agreement that you have worked out with the state, I don't have to follow that agreement. So let's hypothetically say they want you to have probation. If I were to tell you, I'm not going to give you probation, I'm sending you to jail, then you can withdraw your plea.
Okay.
Because I have not followed your plea bargain agreement. Now, the conditions for the plea bargain agreement, that's something the court gets to decide. You understand? Yeah. So if for some reason I don't follow your plea bargain agreement and I try to give you more than what you've bargained for, then you get to withdraw your plea. And it can't be used against you if you decide to go to jury trial. You understand? And by that same token, if I don't follow your plea, then what can end up happening if you withdraw your plea, then the state can say, okay, we're going to have to go to jury trial. We're going to go to jury trial. And maybe they won't be going to jury trial on a Class A misdemeanor. They'll be going to trial on the injury to the elderly. Not maybe, that's what they'd have to do. You understand? All right. Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent?
Yeah.
Did you understand by entering this plea, you were giving up those rights?
Yes.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into this plea bargain agreement?
Yes.
All right. Did you understand if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication, if for any reason you were to violate your conditions of probation, I could revoke you and sentence you up to 1 year in the Bexar County Jail. Did you understand?
Yes.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes, sir.
So, you thought taking responsibility meant spilling everything in open court like it was story time, and then blamed the judge for not letting you walk straight into legal trouble. Thankfully, the judge had the good sense to slow things down before you completely wrecked your own defense. Honestly, watching someone try to admit guilt without understanding how any of this works is like watching someone flip over a chessboard and think they won.
Do you believe she has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against her?
I do.
Do you believe she's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes.
Ms. Diano, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea? Anyone promised you anything other than the plea? Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes.
Are you a U.S. citizen? Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived her right to jury trial. Then what will end up happening is the state will present evidence, and then I'll make a decision on whether or not that evidence is sufficient to find you guilty. If I find that the evidence is not sufficient to find you guilty, then I'm going to find you not guilty and say that the state can prove its case. However, if there's something else going on between you and this other person, that is not before this court today. That's something else. So what I've just read to you, did you understand that to be the plea? Defense?
Yes, sir.
State?
That is a plea.
Did you review the waiver of appeal paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? The state is requesting that your deferred adjudication be for a term of 6 months.
Yeah.
All right. Explain to me what's an in knocked. That's in the, that's in the police report. The officer said suspect one stated that victim one had in knocked on her door.
They They knocked on their door trying
No,
to,
I'm asking.
Constantly.
No. What is an in knock?
Going and knocking on the door and running. That's what.
Why isn't it Caucasian knocking? Why isn't Why isn't it Caucasian knocking? Why isn't Asian knocking? Why isn't some other knocking? Why is it called that?
No, that's just the way they say it.
No, that's the way you say it because that's what you said.
That's what that's basically, I mean, all right. I don't know what else to tell you.
No, I'm just trying to figure out why.
It's
Why would
not
you
like
call
a
it
race.
that?
It wasn't to be racist. The kids just kept knocking and knocking on my door, constantly doing that to me. They live upstairs. I did not touch this kid, and I really don't even want to sit here and plead to say that I did.
Oh, you can go. We can have a jury trial.
I don't want to do that because he says that's not the best thing to do.
No.
I just I lost a child. My son was 19 years old, was murdered just 2 years ago. I'm under a lot of stress already, so I'm just trying to get out of this and get it as easy as
Just what?
I'm just stressed out enough.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So do you want a jury trial?
No, I don't. I just want to get this over with, do the probation and whatever I have to do.
All right. So what was the race of?
You asked me that question. If you knew the answer to the question.
What is the race of the complainant?
Hispanic.
Hispanic.
Everyone's Hispanic in the instance.
Mm-hmm. And if I knew the answer, I don't know why you would say that. That's why I'm trying to figure out why you're saying it, because in the police report, they say you were intoxicated. So I'm trying to figure out.
Intoxicated.
That's what it says in the police report. It says, suspect stated V had knocked on her door and she came outside to see who knocked. And victim's family came down the stairs yelling at her, accused her of hitting the victim. Suspect kept saying she did not want to tell her side of the story and tried to walk away to go inside. I detained suspect to investigate further. And it says in here that there was signs of drinking.
I don't see a crime in drinking in your own home. I was in my own home.
I'm just trying to figure out what's going on because I have to set conditions for you. Is this an anger problem? Because they want you to do.
I'm sorry that you caught me off guard with the question that you asked me. I feel like you're kind of in a setup, I felt kind of set up with that question. I understand it's not a word to be used, and I understand that I used it in the wrong word, in a wrong way, and I apologize for that. So I'm sorry.
There's more in here that you said. You're using profanity. I am trying to figure out, because it says suspect had a strong odor of intoxicants on her. I'm trying to figure out why the state is asking for anger management, because they're requesting that you do anger management. They're requesting that you have a TAP evaluation to see if you have a drug or alcohol problem. They're asking for sober support meetings. Sober support meetings are usually for people who have a drug or alcohol problem. I'm trying to figure out what's going on because you told me that the lady, Samantha, had, assaulted you or is still causing problems with you. So I'm trying to read the room and figure out what's going on.
Good thing someone in that courtroom still knew how to piece things together and look beyond just body language. Because honestly, if nobody stepped in, that hearing would have turned into a free-for-all of mixed-up stories, emotional outbursts, and one contradiction after another. The judge somehow stayed calm while trying to make sense of slang, dodge accidental racism, and sort through a mess of stress, grief, and poor choices, all while keeping the actual law front and center. At this point, the only thing more patient than that judge might be a saint with noise-canceling headphones.
Cannot.
I'm leaving this apartment, so I already have gone into a new place to live. I'm leaving on Sunday because the lady kicked my dog the other day. And she got up in my face and stuck her finger in my face and started yelling at me. No, I don't have a drinking problem. Yes, I lost my child on February 5th, 2023. He was murdered by a best friend in a gas station in Austin, Texas. And I lost my fiance 11 days before that. He had a heart attack inside my home. I've been under a lot of stress and frustration. These people don't leave me alone from upstairs. It's a constant fight with this lady. So I'm moving myself away from that environment. I've already lost my job because of her, that I had a job with for 6 years, working from home. And I politely went upstairs and told her, look, I work from home. All they do is they run like a herd of elephants upstairs and it basically just annoying people. And that's it. The kid just keeps knocking on my door. They would steal my decorations for my home. I've already complained. So now I'm taking myself out of the environment and just going somewhere else.
All right, state, you're requesting anger management in sober meetings?
Sure.
All right, and why are you requesting that?
Seems like that would be beneficial for the defendant to undergo. We're in agreement with the state. We would have to probate the fine on her, as you heard. The defendant has lost her job. She's having to have moving expenses. She's indigent and court appointed, Your Honors. At this time, we would ask to follow the plea and to waive the fine.
So you're fine with anger management in sober meetings?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. There's going to be a $500 fine probated, proof of employment within 30 days, no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. There's going to be 1 year deferred adjudication, 80 hours of community service restitution. I think she needs anger management. I'm going to order anger management. Once she's completed that, then 40 of the hours will be deemed satisfied. And then I'm going to order 60 sober meetings in 60 days. TAP evaluation, that can be out of custody. Follow recommendations. There's going to be field visits 1 time per month for 6 months. Regular reporting by Zoom or in person, regular random UAs. There's to be no contact with the following persons: Danny Ibarra, Samantha Coronado, and Brenda Espinoza. Probation, is there anything else she needs? Is there anything else you need from the court to be successful? Did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it? Because it's a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand? Yeah. All right. And Ms. Abrams, see if maybe a referral to Center for Healthcare Services, maybe they can help her with any type of trauma. All right.
Just like that, the courtroom felt more like a draining therapy session, with legal stakes attached. While most people in the room seemed caught up in personal drama and neighborhood feuds, thankfully, someone was actually in control. Despite being hit with everything from stories about dead pets to noise complaints, and even a speech that could have been ripped from a Netflix docuseries, the judge stayed focused. They laid out terms that didn't just follow the law but also aimed to help the defendant get back on track. Who would have thought being a judge also meant being a counselor, crisis manager, and having the patience of a monk?